Have you ever agreed to do a small favor for someone, maybe just helping them carry something for a second, only to find yourself agreeing to a much bigger request moments later? You might wonder why you said yes. Well, it's not a coincidence, and it's not just you being nice. It's a powerful psychological principle at play, often called the foot in the door effect. This isn't just some dusty theory, it's a fundamental part of how we influence and are influenced every single day. This phenomenon, which you could also call the getting an inch, taking a mile effect, is all about escalating commitment. Once a person agrees to a small, almost trivial request, they become significantly more likely to agree to a larger one later on. It's all about our desire to seem consistent. A classic experiment by psychologists Friedman and Fraser showed this perfectly. They had assistants go to two different neighborhoods. In the first, they went straight for the big ask. Will you put this large, kind of ugly drive carefully sign on your front lawn? As you can imagine, most people said no. Only 17% agreed. But in the second neighborhood, they started small. They first asked residents to simply sign a petition supporting safe driving. Almost everyone did. Then, a few weeks later, they returned and asked those same people to put up that big, ugly sign. This time, an incredible 55% of residents agreed. The only difference was that initial tiny commitment. So, what's happening here? Well, the tension lies in our powerful, almost automatic drive for internal consistency. Once we take a small action that says, I'm the kind of person who cares about safe driving, we feel a psychological pull to act in line with that new self description. It's a mental shortcut we take to avoid the discomfort of our actions contradicting our beliefs. Understanding how this phenomenon works is the first step. The next is to explore the underlying psychological drivers that make it so effective. There are really two main psychological gears turning here. First is something called cognitive dissonance theory. When we agree to that small request, it creates a tiny bit of internal pressure. To resolve that feeling and keep our self perception stable, we become more willing to accept the larger request because it justifies the first one. It makes our story about ourselves make sense. The second driver is self image management. Let's be honest, we all want to be seen as good, helpful, cooperative people. Agreeing to that first small ask helps build up this positive self image. So when the bigger request comes along, saying no feels like we'd be tearing down that very persona we just helped construct. What this really shows